and welcome to the first editions of Around the Rim. And I'm with the head coach of the Eagleville boys, head coach Davy McClaran. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well, thanks.
A little rusty, hadn't done this in a while, but it's good to be here in Eagleville and everything. Coach, we're doing these interviews here, getting ready for that big game on Saturday, the Battle of 99. Tell us a little bit about who is Davy McClaran, as you were just we were discussing before we got on the air, and take it away.
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Eagleville.
Okay.
My grandmother taught here. My grandparents came to Eagleville. My parents came to Eagleville. I went through Eagleville K-12. When I left Eagleville, I went to Motlow, and then I went to MTSU. After MTSU, I started teaching and coaching at Forest High School. I was there for.
How was that? How was your first years? What did you learn if you had to look back on those first years of coaching? What did you learn?
I learned that I didn't know as much as I thought I did, and I wasn't ready. And I was very fortunate not to be a head coach right out of high school like I thought I wanted to be. I was an assistant coach for 2 years, and then I was the head coach.
Was you any good over Forest at that time?
We were. I mean, we were.
So at least you were able to learn from somebody that
Absolutely.
was doing it right, and
Absolutely.
that's important.
Yes, sir. My first year as a head coach, we went to Sub-State.
Okay.
And then we went to, out of the 15 years, we went to about 9 district championships, regions, and right in there. And
so you cut some nets.
We did. We experienced a lot of success. Mr. Brown, our assistant principal here at Eagleville, is a former point guard of mine.
Oh, wow.
So he was one of my players.
So it kind of comes full circle.
It does. Steve Luker, the principal at Rockville, I coached side by side. He was our football coach at Forest. I was the basketball coach, so have a little connection.
Great competitor, great leader, no school system. Steve Luker is one of the best. Austin P grad, just a fine fella.
Absolutely. Steve and I go way back, and we're real good friends, and I think a lot of Steve. And so I was, and then at Forest, I was the head coach for 15 years, and then I became an assistant principal for 4, and then I was the principal there for 3. Bill Tollett called and said there was going to be an opening. He knew I always wanted to come back home. So in 2019, packed my bags. I interviewed for the job, got the job, and myself and my 2 sons came back to Eagleville, and this has been a dream job of mine since I was.
It's a great story. It's a great story. It's an Amazon Prime. I'm telling you, keep going.
And so, it was a dream come true coming back, and got a lot of pride, a lot of love for this program, and just very fortunate to be back home.
Well, a lot of people don't know it, but those that are viewing, this is the most expensive property in Rutherford County.
I'd say you're right.
As we're on the edge, it's a beautiful drive out, as it always is, out to Eagleville. Tell us a little bit about your coaching philosophy, being a coach and everything. I was taking a look at some of your books, and you got Bobby Knight over there on the shelf. I know who Bobby Knight is. I watched him coach years ago and live, and watched a couple of his games and stuff. Give us a little bit about your coaching philosophy, what you like to do.
Yeah, hardworking, character-driven, high quality. We want to learn the game. We want to have a high IQ. Want to teach the game at a high IQ, and want to instill, a blue-collar type work ethic on the floor at practice. And so, I want the guys to have fun, but I want them to always learn how to fight adversity, how to handle success, how to handle failure, and at the end of the year, be at your best and just keep pushing. I want them to learn how to be coaches on the floor, so that when they're dads and granddads, or if they want to go into that profession, they have a background. They can teach the game the right way. And so always looking for the future right there, and just trying to teach the game at a high level and just work hard.
Well, and it's tough, kids today compared to, I'm 54, when I grew up, and you just did what the coach said. There's a lot more spokenness of kids today, allowed to say what you want to say and express your viewpoints, whereas years ago you kept your mouth shut. But at the same time, you're talking about that, blue collar that come to work every day. You're just talking about being fundamentally sound when you're on the court, protect the ball, and have a lot of pride for your school and play hard, and no matter what the outcome is.
Absolutely. I want them to love to be an Eagle.
That's great. That's great.
It is, and we're at a unique place, K-12.
Yeah.
A lot of these students have they've not known anything else but to be an Eagle, and it's been their lifelong dream as long as they've been alive, to be an Eagle. And we want it to mean something, and we want them to come back and bring their children back here and be an Eagle when they go. So, we want to instill that type of character, hardworking, love for a program, never give up mentality, and we can get to where we want to go through hard work.
Every season has a story, whether you're into the 21-22, you're a little over halfway through that season. Where are you with this club? And I mean, that's just stepping out of the box, and whether any of the kids would talk about it. Where do they think? Where do these guys think they are?
I think they're probably a little disappointed where they're at right now. We're 3-12. We only bring back one returning starter from last year.
That's tough. That's tough because you got new leadership. They have to learn the flow of the game. They have to learn where am I supposed to be on this play versus the last play.
And he was a freshman last year.
Wow.
So he's a sophomore.
So he's growing in his second year.
Right, he is. And we only have one senior on the team.
That hurts.
It hurts a little bit. We don't have the depth, so we're bringing freshmen off the floor. We do have a good core of juniors, but they're learning how to play different roles, different expectations. And so there's a lot of growing pains. I didn't do us any favors. We beefed up the schedule, because we to get to where
but
we
maybe you didn't know where you would be at this time when you started playing that schedule. You didn't know that, hey, when I play in this schedule, we're going to be one of the most unexperienced teams on the floor in Middle Tennessee. You didn't plan on that.
Right. We wanted to battle test these kids. We wanted to put them through the gauntlet, as I would say, just so that when we do get to our district, because with Fayetteville City in our district, they're a state type tournament team every year, and with their athleticism, and then you have some teams like Richland who went to the state last year that are going to be back in the state probably this year. They're good enough. We wanted to face some competition that every single night that was that level of play for our level of play. So we've stepped out and played Nolensville and obviously Rockville and some bigger schools.
That got depth and got height and got guys that's got a little bit of experience on the floor. It's just tough.
Yeah, we played Mount Juliet, Livingston Academy. I can go on. We've played some quality opponents for us.
Probably more so than anything, your guys realize they got a lot of work to do in the off season. What a lot of people don't understand, basketball season is the fun time. It's the time to go show you. I can show you what I've been doing all summer.
Right.
And November and December and January, it's a time for me to get out there and do all the things I was working on in the summer. But your kids have probably understood right now, man, I've got a ton of work I need to do in the off season.
Well, and I think that, along with just gelling together. We've got 5 kids that haven't played a whole lot together on the floor, and they're gelling and they're learning each other's tendencies. I think all of our intentions are great, but I think a lot of times we try to, do the hero play.
And that's tough. You can't do it in basketball. Very few people can do it. There's a couple that can do it and make a difference, but very few can do it.
Right, and I don't think there's any selfishness. There's not a selfish bone in any of those kids. They just want to help the team win. And that's what we're trying to learn how to do. We got to learn to do it as a team and not as an individual. And we're showing strides all the time. We just haven't put 4 quarters together yet. And we're battling injury. We have a starter. Our leading scorer's out for the last 4 games.
Tough.
Yeah, the last 4 games we've played without our leading scorer. So it's we keep getting these tests, and we're going to be there at the end of the year. I still have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
But we got to start, catching
You got to start pretty soon because the candle's burning at both ends.
That's
You got about 10, 11 games left, and then it will be tournament time, and there are some, and it's about just keep playing the game because you just don't know what'll happen. And finally, the lights kick on, and as Coach Pat Dye always said, now the game's starting to slow down to them. It's not moving as fast as it once was. It's slowing down.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I know where I'm supposed to be. Going into this game on Saturday, big game. The game of Highway 99. Not a lot of people know this, but it's been since 1972. Rockville's been here 3 years. But you come in, and they came in and they scheduled, and y'all wasn't in that contract. So then you get to a new contract, which is at the beginning of this semester or this year, and you start that series. What's it like to be on the front end of something that I was 5 years old the last time Rockville and Eagleville played? I was 5.
Right.
So banana splits and kaboom was my big thing. But what do you think about when you go into this game, just from a philosophical standing back and saying, I'm gonna be a part of something that's gonna be a rivalry long after I'm gone?
Well, I don't know that our kids really have digested, the history behind it, because to them it's not relevant.
Right.
My mother played.
Wow.
My father played. My grandparents.
So when did your
played.
mother play?
She graduated in '71.
So there was girls basketball in '71
Right.
here in Tennessee organized,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
did Rockville and Eagleville play. Can you help me on that?
I'm 100% positive that they did.
Okay, so there was some women that actually played the
Sure.
game back in the '70s when this
Sure.
rivalry. I was searching for some of that. Thank you for filling that
Yeah,
in.
I'm almost positive that they did.
When you get with your, before I get on the broadcast on
Okay.
Saturday, is your mother still living?
Oh yes, she's right down the road.
Will you call her and ask her,
I
or make
will.
a note so you can tell me on Saturday before the broadcast? We'd like to get that in, that it was organized basketball. Maybe I can get with her 5 or 10 minutes before the ball game. She can tell me a little bit
Okay,
about it.
yeah.
Or maybe she
Yeah.
needs to come to the interview process. We'll be interviewing people from 3 to 6,
Okay.
or 4 to 6. It's on the flyer. Tell her to come down. I'd love to talk to her about
Sure.
the girls basketball. Such a different angle than
Right.
capturing some of the history.
It was 3-on-3 back then as well, so
Was it?
yeah, so it was a different type of game than what they
Was it
played.
half court?
It was. It
So
was.
the girls played in the '70s, 3-on-3, half court.
Up until I think around 77 or 78, somewhere around in there. So.
Then was it just more of a club sport, or was it recorded and actually they went to a tournament?
Oh yeah, it was full TSSAA.
Okay,
They had
now
state
we're
tournaments.
getting.
They had big school, small school in the late '70s, but they just had one classification.
That was 3-on-3 girls.
Yes.
Okay. And did they play that at the junior level too, or was
Yeah, I believe it was junior high and high school.
So you did have a little preparatory to get
Sure,
there.
sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Buddy Pate, who's the former principal here, was her coach.
Now, is he the one that switched from Rockville to Eagleville? There's Coach Luker was telling me there once was a coach that was at Eagleville and then went to Rockville, or he was at Rockville and went to Eagleville.
Mr. Pate went to Riverdale,
Okay.
and then he coached at Riverdale, and then he came back here to be a principal.
Okay.
So he was a Eagleville alumnus that
Okay.
coached here when moved on, and he coached my mother. And just a lot of history. Joe Shelton, who was the principal here as well, was a former basketball coach, and he coached my father. And so, but just gathering from talking to them over the years, and I haven't talked to my mother specifically about it. I've had my mind on, just
I know
on
what
season.
you're saying, Coach.
But
It's fine.
Rockville and Eagleville was always a heated rivalry, just separated by 5-6 miles, and that old school was, Rockville old school. I played against Rockville in
Was there
middle
more
school.
of a general store too here between here and Rockville, or was it just dead space, just
Just
farmland,
dead space,
just
yeah.
farmland?
Yeah, it was. And when I was in middle school, we played Rockville's middle school.
Wow.
Actually, Chris Lynch, who's the girl coach here, I played against him. He went to Rockville Middle School, so he's a former Rocket and an Eagleville. So he's,
It's all tied together.
It
This whole
is.
community, it
It
really
is.
is. This whole story. I'm peeling back the
Sure.
layers and finding out more about this rivalry. And you're saying it was just so he's. What kind of crowds are we talking years ago?
Well, gyms were a lot smaller back then. So
But it looked crowded.
It did. It felt crowded. So, when the gyms were smaller and people are on top, it was a great atmosphere from what I gather. And even in middle school, Eagleville's always had a great following.
Yes.
Even when I played. And even now, we have a great following. People would love to get us on the schedule just because our fans are
Good gate.
Yeah,
Good
second
gate.
to none.
That's what's first thing
that's
right.
right.
It's first thing you think about when you think about your opponent.
Sure.
Well, are they any good, and can we beat them? And then number 2, who are they going to bring so
Yeah.
we can make our money? Because high school sports is about. The only way the groups survive. This isn't. We're not playing for goodwill or charity. It's about running an operation. It's about running a program and scheduling the right team so you get the fans in the stands. Put on a good product on the floor and have good competitive spirit between your kids.
Oh, absolutely, and we have the best fans. We have an unbelievable gym for a single A school. It's large. It's beautiful. It's second to none.
Have y'all hosted some tournaments here?
Oh, lots. Yes, and we're usually the gym of choice because of size and seating and just
good
facilities.
parking.
Right, everything, every aspect of it. But you know, our fans want to win, and I want to win for them, and we want to put a good product out there. And you know, last 3 years we've put great products out there, and like I told you, I feel like by the end of the year we're going to have that great product. It's just going to take us a little longer, but you know, I expect it to be a good crowd. We're going to bring people regardless of how big it's built
Right.
up. Our fans are going to come, and then I would love to see some of the alumnus come out and just do it because there is a lot of ties,
Right.
you know, and you know, for years students from Rockville went to Riverdale. They wouldn't come to Eagleville, and I think that goes back to the tradition of, well, we played y'all in basketball. You know, there was some heated.
There didn't have to be a cell phone, no, you didn't like it.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
that there was some animosity between the two teams. You didn't need texting or Twitter or any of
Right,
that.
and I really feel like when Coach Lynch, Chris Lynch, he came as a junior when I was a senior, and that he was some of the first Rockville students to kind of open
As you
the
were
door.
playing and coming up during that time, who was the best basketball player? Who was everybody idolizing, and who did everybody think was, you know, that's who you that was the best as far as a high school basketball player, boys?
Oh goodness! I mean, I can go through Eagleville's history and just name my top 10 probably.
Right.
You
But
know.
somebody might know, or a name that you
Well-
played against in whether it be Metro Nashville or in
Right.
Rutherford.
Well, you know, that's a great question because, I mean, I'm going to say Edward Floyd. He graduated here in I believe it was 84,
Okay.
83, 84, and to me, growing up, he was the best
He was
basketball
the
player
man.
I've ever seen.
He could play the game.
He could play the game. I mean, he
Where
had
did
it
he
all.
go on?
Well, he didn't. I don't think he had the grades and the support.
That's
but
it.
I believe he had every school in the nation wanting him to, you know.
Great story. I mean,
Yeah,
it's tough for
I mean,
him. I
he
mean,
just
you
didn't
know.
have, just didn't have the family support. Just didn't have the. He never really looked beyond high school, so he didn't take those things.
People
seriously.
probably didn't think of it as a way out.
Right.
And he didn't see it as a way out.
No,
you know?
he didn't, and but he was phenomenal. He was fun to watch. He was
Edward
electric.
Ford.
Edward Floyd, but that team, that 83, 84 team, you know, I would like to think our 2019, 2020 team that we were in the semifinals of the state tournament my first year here was the best, but I'd hate to play that 83, 84 team and to find out who was the best. That would be a great game.
Anything else you'd like to add to the story besides you've got a great faculty, student body, the administrators and all that, and is there anybody you would like to thank, you know, as far as, I know you do a weekly show every once in a while on other media outlets and stuff, but is there somebody you'd like to thank, because, you know, normally we don't get together, but it's been a pleasure and everything, and I'll see you Saturday, but is there
Sure.
anything I left out or anybody you want to
Well,
thank?
I mean, you know, I want to thank the parents for the support, the
Yes, sir.
patience. You know, I coach their children hard. I love them hard, but I coach them hard. And
You coach them as if they're your own.
absolutely,
Because you want them to be better. You said that in the
Absolutely.
beginning of the interview.
Sure, and sometimes that's hard.
Yeah.
You know, and they have a lot of patience with me, and I appreciate that. And they give me their most prized possession. So, you know, I want to thank them. I want to thank my players for just putting up with me. You know, but I'm not going to lower my expectations. I'm gonna keep pushing them.
Right.
Pushing them. And then again, you named it, administration for the, you know, the confidence in letting us do our job.
Because it's tough with the COVID and everything. I didn't want
Oh,
to bring that up,
yeah.
but they're on you. Hey, coach, let me tell you something. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that in order for us to stay in compliance. You got
Sure.
it? You know, yeah, I got it. You know, I
Right.
mean, it's tough, but we're all trying to protect ourselves and trying to do the right thing, and, you know.
It's a very tough situation. You know, the last few years have been, or last couple of years have been tough. The unknowns, you know, the uncertainties. Are we going to be at school? Are we going to be able to practice? You know, are we going to be quarantined? Are we going to get to play? So, you know, it's been very challenging to keep a team focused on track. And so, I'm very fortunate to be at a great place with a great tradition, a lot of pride, want to do good for this place. We're going to go Saturday. We're gonna play.
You
as hard
got
as we
another
can.
game on Friday
Yeah.
between now and then, so it's been a
Yeah.
tough week. To play 3 games in 1 week. It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Did y'all get the one in?
We played last night.
Okay.
We played Community. They're 2A, and other than the first quarter, we played well.
Well,
And
slow start.
with no practice, we didn't get to practice on
Mm.
Monday, and we hadn't played. We hadn't even been in the gym since last week when we got through with our Christmas tournament. So we just went out there cold turkey. So it was that first quarter showed
Yeah.
that. But our first district game is Friday on the road at Fayetteville City. Like I said.
You're anxious to see what you look like on that.
Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road right there. All this hard work, we're gonna see where we're at, and we're still gonna be probably without a starter. And just found out I'm not gonna have one of my first players off the bench. He's sick, so we're in a corner, and I'll see how much fight we got coming out, and then we'll turn around and we're gonna go into I'm sure a good, competitive, hostile environment, which I like, and with a lot of tradition and history behind it, and we're going to give Rockville everything we got.
I can't wait, and thank you for your time and the history and all the information. It's been great, and kids, you'll want to join in. That game's going to be broadcasted right on Stork Vision. That's the second game between the Eagleville Eagles and the Rockville Rockets, and that is Saturday over at the Space Center. We'll see you there.